Hello and welcome back to another episode. I'm Tyler.
I'm Brendan.
And we got a great one for you today, talking about local music scenes. And local as in local to the Tampa area that we live in, as well as some of the cities that we have already lived in or played music in.
Yeah, exactly. I think it'll be fun. I think every city is unique. Every city kind of, whether it's tourist or whether it's, just that genre of music was born in that city. Mm-hmm. Each city presents something different.
And one of those cities is a very well-known city by the name of Nashville, which you have had 2 years in?
Around a year or so.
Yeah. So, okay, walk me through that, which we talked about how you got there and everything, but what is the Nashville music scene like? Is it what everybody thinks? Is it all just country, or give me the rundown?
Yeah, it's pretty honky-tonk, not going to lie. It lives up to the stereotypes, especially if you're going down like Broadway or the main strip or something. It's all country covers, which is cool. You get that vibe. If you're a tourist there, that's what you want. You don't want to go to Nashville and it's all like LA pop songwriters.
Right.
It's doesn't fit the theme. I'll say songwriters are everywhere and they're really good.
Okay.
They're really good. They're very fast. They'll write anything. It's not just country. They'll write anything. Same thing with kind of like producers. Producers, for the most part, like country demos and that kind of stuff, but pretty much anything.
Is it saturated? You know what I mean when I say that?
Not as much as like an LA or something. Okay. It's kind of nice, like if you're in kind of like that club, like the songwriters club.
Right.
You're in that friend group. It feels like a small city. It doesn't feel overwhelming. You kind of know everyone, or you get to know everyone, and it just has a really cool small town vibe.
Mm-hmm. Now, how far were you from that main street of the honky tonk of Nashville in the country?
I was about 25 minutes south of the
city.
So
like living in a suburb, pretty much. Like
yeah.
Close to, that would be downtown, I would assume. I haven't been to Nashville, so that's why I'm asking these questions, what it's like.
Yeah.
But they still have other scenes. Like if you want to find your metal, or you want to find your punk, or you want to find your pop. Well, I guess country is pop. Any of those can be pop, but they have those other scenes. Like you can find them. They're just...
Yeah, they do. They're just not as prominent, and there's a lot of like music colleges and stuff out there. So you have like your kids experimenting with, what prog rock or whatever they want to play.
But nobody's
different time signatures.
Nobody's snobby. Like you don't walk around, or you're not networking as a songwriter and people are like writing you off.
No.
So it's a cool city.
Very nice. Everyone's very, it's the Southern hospitality. You go into McDonald's and they're playing, country music in the background, and
really?
They're all like, "Oh, hey, sweetie, how are you?"
No shit.
It's nice.
That's cool. Now, can you, as an original artist writing your own songs, is it a place to be? Because people flock there. It's like notorious, right? You're just going. LA's one of them. We'll get to that, but Nashville's another one. Why Nashville, and where's the fit for people who write their own music?
It was kind of like becoming the new LA. Like all of your music guys from LA were, at least when I was there, they were all migrating in. You'd meet these new songwriters in a session. They'd be like, "Oh, I just came from LA or something," and it seemed like a lot of like everyone was migrating. So you kind of get this melting pot, so to speak. But there were a lot of people just doing their own thing. A lot of people love to play covers, and they do well. They make a good living doing it in Nashville. But at the same time, everyone is kind of there to support their local artists and their local songwriters. So they'll go out and listen to their originals, and
it's easy to get a gig.
Yeah, it's relatively easy to get a gig.
Now, have you been to LA? Have you had experience out there, saying people flock from there?
Yeah, I was there for about a week. I don't know if that really counts, but...
What, on vacation?
No, so doing like a music camp thing.
Okay.
There for about a week, and all like the vibes I got from everyone was like, it is so saturated.
Yeah.
It's insane out here. Like, just go back. Get out.
Get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
It's
what about
funny.
you? Have you been out?
So I've been to visit it as a tourist, right? Going to LA, but as a musician, no. And with you saying that, I have had one experience as of recently where somebody said, when you go to LA, everybody's a producer, and all they care about is your clout. So what they want to see is they won't want to really listen to your music if you want to show them, if you're an original artist or whatever the case. They want to know how many followers you have. So that,
see, like, why?
I don't know.
What's the purpose of that? I wonder, like, is New York like that? I don't have much experience with New York other than like the shows that we played there. But
yeah, I don't think New York's like that. New York's a whole other beast of an animal. I think when I think of New York, I think Broadway. So I'm thinking a whole other type of music. Not that the music scene doesn't exist there, but And the disclaimer here is this is our experiences, and what I will say is do not go to LA. I know people say go to LA, but don't go there unless somebody's pulling you out there like a label or something, and you blew up in Cleveland or Nashville. Don't go there.
So like I was planning on going out there, like to live out there, and as like a guitar player.
Yeah.
And like everyone was saying, yo, just don't do it. There's so many guitar players. Everyone's willing to play for free. You know, like it just becomes chaos. And
that bad.
That's your whole stereotype of like you're starving musicians because everyone will play for free.
So it's just tradition, maybe. Like, oh, you think LA, you're like, that's it. I'm gonna make it. Like, I gotta get out there. Like, that's your chance. And maybe for some it is.
Some people still do.
Certainly.
Yeah.
I Post Malone, I think, did it. I think the story on him is he was growing up in Texas, and then he followed a friend who had a gaming channel. They were like, yo, we're getting over out to LA. Come with us. And he took off.
See, that's pretty cool.
But one out of how many thousands?
Yeah.
Doesn't mean you shouldn't try. But, okay, so let's take that to a new level. So it's weird because this episode is just our experiences on the music scenes, right, that we've experienced, and we'll get to a lot of them. It's not so much where you're going to find the most success. That may be something we talk about later. But when you talk...
Yeah, I want to talk the fun cities here.
Yeah, the fun cities we'll get to. But we're getting to the good one, the one of our roots. But you talk about one out of how many, right? Because the music industry is huge. People are trying to get well-known or just level up. Mm-hmm. And you see certain people will succeed more so than others. Some will never make it to whatever their standards are, whatever the case it's set by society. I don't know. But the thing to say not to do it or don't try is terrible, because if we look at Ohio, Cleveland, Ohio, not just the names and the people that have come out of Ohio, I'm sure some of them that have made it elsewhere.
There's surprisingly a lot of big names that have come out of Ohio.
Big names.
Yeah, especially like the Cleveland area or Columbus even. I know 21 Pilots.
That's where I was getting to, Columbus. To be somebody that can make it out of literally anywhere.
Yeah.
They say, so anyone from anywhere can do anything. That's what I would leave that conversation with.
Where were the Black Keys out of? Was that Cleveland?
They were out of Akron.
Akron.
Yeah. So, but, okay, let's talk about it. Cleveland, Ohio, or the greater Ohio area in general. You got, just because I like the band, we like them. 21 Pilots is out of Columbus. The greater Columbus area. They're actually out of a little city outside of it. But then you get to Akron, you got the Black Keys and maybe some other people. And then you talk Cleveland.
Got some rappers out of Cleveland.
Notorious.
MGK,
the guy. Kid Cudi. Bone Thugs and Harmony. I know 9 Inch Nails. I don't know if it's the whole band, but I think Trent Reznor specifically. Dave Grohl is out of some city in Ohio.
Grohl.
I don't think he took Nirvana from there. They blew up somewhere, Seattle, right?
Seattle.
But Dave Grohl's from Ohio, so that counts, right? Are we counting the people from Ohio?
Sure.
We shouldn't, but we will. Yeah. Because we're going to
stick to the roots.
Represent Ohio.
Yeah.
And even some other ones like the Isley Brothers, which is like way older. John Legend from some city in Ohio. It doesn't matter where you're from. It matters how much work you're going to put in and how bad you want it. Timing does probably matter and luck. But that's the conversation for the other podcast. With that Cleveland music scene, what are your thoughts having grown up in the music scene of Cleveland, Ohio?
Yeah. I feel like Cleveland has a lot of music. Like it's I don't know.
It's got the rock hall.
I don't want to rip on it, Yeah, it has a rock hall. Cool. Wow. For anyone that's actually been to the rock hall, it's just okay,
It's kind of cool. It's cool.
Yeah. I think it's overhyped.
We don't like it because we live there. How many shows do we have to play at the Rock Hall?
100.
It wasn't a bad venue though. Yeah, a lot of shows. But a lot of great venues out of Cleveland though. You talk the Grog Shop. You talk
lots
Agora,
of good venues.
House of Blues, Cleveland,
Beachland,
Winchester. I mean, local clubs, the Fantasy. These are all clubs that you'll find in any city, I think. But these are just the ones that we know of Cleveland.
Yeah, very cool. Like vibes. Lots of good history with them. I feel like Cleveland feels like the city that used to be big in music. Like it used to be huge. And I think that's kind of true. Like a lot of bands used to come to Cleveland a lot, used to love touring through Cleveland. I feel like nowadays it's kind of died down. Everyone who made it, and they moved out, and it's Cleveland.
Man, you got nothing nice to say, dude.
I'm not trying to rip on it.
He goes to Florida one time and then forgets his roots.
Okay, but you look at us now in Tampa, there's really no music scene here.
Correct.
Worse than Cleveland, I would think.
Well, this is strictly a tourist area.
Yeah, lots of like beach music, covers for the tourists. And I would say reggae too. We have the Reggae Fest. Mm-hmm. But besides that, there's not much.
Karen driving down in her minivan with her screaming children isn't coming to Florida for this vacation she saved up all year for to listen to Forest Lake sing Coconut Chapstick.
I mean, they will be soon.
Sipping her, chocolate espresso martini on the beach. Sure. She wants to hear her, She
wants to hear Jimmy Buffett.
Yeah, in Margaritaville. It's a good point he brings up. Tampa, it's a music scene we're trying to get into with like seeing local shows and some of the venues that I mentioned in Cleveland that exist down here in this area. But it's a tourist area that doesn't support really very well local music. There's no reason to be in Tampa. I think Tampa is one of those cities too for big bands. It's really out of the way, right? Like you're going to have Miami, which has a massive amount of more people than Tampa. And then,
You're saying from like a touring perspective?
Yeah, from a touring perspective. I was checking it out that
a lot of bands still tour here though.
They do. I'm not saying it gets skipped over, but
I get what you're saying though. Like you have, Orlando,
yeah,
right next door, and Miami down south.
It's geographically plays a factor too. Cleveland, I could see it passes by, through getting to New York or wherever the case. But
yeah,
Florida, for us, the music scene doesn't even matter because the purpose for us to be in this area was to work on everything we're doing down here. So what goes on out there, we'll worry about that when we start playing shows. And there are venues that support local artists, but certainly wouldn't recommend moving to Tampa for a music scene if you're looking for some sort of scene.
It's kind of non-existent.
It's just non-existent here. It's not Nashville. It's not LA. Not that you should go to LA.
I mean, if it depends on what you want, I guess. If you're here to play covers, it's all you. You can make a great career out of it playing covers here.
True.
You'll never not have a show. But
speaking on,
do you want to do that?
Yeah. So the terms that us being, original artists and trying to speak to those people, don't move here. And that's where you got to start.
Stay away.
Let's back it up. When we're talking about music scenes, right? What are you looking for with that music scene? First, identify who you are. Are you just a tourist/listener, right? Are we just going on vacation and we want to choose New Orleans because New Orleans has killer jazz?
Oh, New Orleans.
You know what I mean? I'll let you speak on that in a minute.
We'll get there.
So once you identify who you are you a listener? Are you a original artist? Are you a producer? Are you a songwriter? Because that's its own category. Or maybe you just are a session cat. Like you just somebody that we just got in touch with out of Nashville is somebody who just literally takes what's the term? They just take a song as it comes and they
as a contractor, I guess.
Yeah, basically contracted to play they're super good at their instrument, bass, guitar, drums, and they'll just track for whoever comes their way to pay. So once you identify yourself in one of those categories, then you can kind of think of like what the music scene might do for you. And maybe certainly don't even rely on a music scene, just trust yourself in the process. But if you are a listener, definitely go to New Orleans because that place and the Jazzers, it's so
insane.
Good.
It's insane.
It's such a great time.
I feel like it might get a bad rap sometimes because people just go to like the main street, like Bourbon Street, right? Mm-hmm. Then they'll just go there and they'll visit for a couple of days and they'll hang out only on Bourbon Street. And it's a madhouse. Like, yeah, it's kind of New Orleans. You get the feel and the vibe for it, but it's not New Orleans. It's not authentic New Orleans.
Right.
You get a couple streets off of Bourbon, then you're getting your real like full band jazz, your gypsy jazz.
Folk is out there.
It's amazing.
Crazy. I haven't been to LA or New York. I've been to New York, but there are some insanely talented street musicians in the city of New Orleans. But I don't know if New Orleans is a city you should go to if you're an original artist.
Well, it's just kind of a whole different vibe, really, like that city with music, and it's like it's implanted in the culture. You'll just be walking down the street, and how often do you walk down the street and you have a guy playing a saxophone just by himself?
Yeah,
and he's rocking it, he's killing it. Like it's just so unique in that regard.
The city that never sleeps is New Orleans to me. I know people say New York is, but it's definitely New Orleans. In New Orleans, you will see things that you either shouldn't have seen. Or you know,
you definitely feel dirty leaving the city. You just need to like decompress in the sun for a little bit after you get out.
But definitely a great city for music. More so as a listener, I would say that for sure. I know, and this is not too far from New Orleans, but just across the way is Atlanta. Something that we've had a friend go up there. I don't know if she's went for music, but
sure.
Atlanta is a growing city for the entertainment business. Not just with music, but with film and TV.
Atlanta, I feel like is big. Like it's big.
Yeah.
And I don't know enough about Atlanta, honestly, but like we know a lot of people that have gone there.
I think Atlanta has I know Cleveland has a notorious rap scene, but you talk about like a rap scene, I think Atlanta's got it.
Is it? Is that primarily rap?
Just from my my gatherings of talking with people and things that I've seen and read, like Atlanta's got a big scene for that. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure they're huge in the hip hop entertainment.
That's pretty cool.
Stuff like that. So if you're trying to do that, maybe go there, check it out. But their traffic is terrible, so have fun with that.
It's a little rough.
Yeah. And then, some cities we still have no idea. Seattle,
yeah, I mean, what goes on in Utah?
I think things happen up there.
Things happen.
But I don't know what to speak on them.
No matter what city you go to, you're always going to find like some form of EDM or like electronic music,
Yeah, if you're an EDM as a producer or whatever, you go wherever the hell you want. You could go to Missouri and find EDM.
Yeah. Like they're everywhere.
Yeah, because those clubs sell. Those are the clubs. Yep. Those are clubs. That's what they are. That play EDM and
you think you can get like a gig in Iowa?
In Iowa?
Iowa.
Playing EDM?
Yeah.
I would bet on it.
I think so.
I'd take it one step further and might as well go to Idaho. Take it to the tip.
I mean,
don't even make me keep going north. EDM is literally the EDM, dance, electronic. That stuff is so universal for that club scene. The people that want to party.
It is
every night or party every weekend. Nothing wrong with that. But if you're into that, you have success anywhere. I know Phoenix is a great place for it. Great. I've seen their nightlife. I've partied in it, and it's fun. Cleveland too has one, Forward nightclub. There's this one guy who owns like a bunch of different places in Cleveland, George something, and he runs these clubs, and they're EDM clubs pretty much. Like
it sells, man.
If you can DJ, which is, I don't know, that's a whole nother conversation about our thoughts on that, but it does sell and it is successful wherever you go. That's for sure.
Yeah, I think it's interesting when a DJ takes your song and kind of like does their magic to it. It's strange.
Yeah.
Like in some ways it sounds very easy, very straightforward with what they're doing. Like they're just adding, 4 on the floor just to kick the entire way through, a little side chain or something. But I feel like it is hard. Like I feel like they are truly like they've mastered their craft in a way, Mm-hmm. I feel like there's a lot more to it than what we think, what we hear on the outside. Yeah,
I haven't tried, so I don't know, but I wouldn't disrespect people that are into it because I listen to that music.
Yeah.
But sometimes you're like, well, when you see these videos of them just in a club and they're just doing this and it's just like a light show. I don't know if it's because everyone's on drugs or they're all drunk or it's the atmosphere vibe that you go for that.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, okay, so I don't know if you saw this. There was a video, I think it was a DJ Khaled video, and he was like in his house or in a studio or something. He had this big DJ set up, and he was just going to town. Like, this man his hands were flying.
Who, DJ Khaled himself?
Yeah.
Not somebody under him?
No, it was him. It was just, there was like no crowd or anything. It was just like him in a house doing this to a song. And like all the comments were like, wow, this is amazing. Like, this is so cool. And I thought it was a joke at first. Like, it did not click with me at all.
Really?
So I don't know if it's like something like an ear that you just have to have for that kind of like.
It didn't click with you because you didn't like the sound of it, or you just didn't like that he wasn't doing much?
Weird stuff happening. Really? Like, he was just turning knobs, making weird.
So it looked like
oscillation sounds, and
it required skill.
Skill, I guess. Maybe just some arbitrary hand motions, but it didn't sound that great, to be honest.
That's the only reason I asked it, because I know DJ Khaled has like a whole group under him. I don't think he even does anything anymore. He's like I'm not going to say Ryan Tedder of whatever. He's
got the whole team behind him.
He's got a team behind him, and I think he just slaps his voice on the project.
Yeah, I mean, once you get to that level, it's kind of like you have to.
So if you had to pick for people listening here, and thank you all for listening and watching and keeping up with all this stuff. If you, obviously we're here working on this, but to put yourself in somebody else's shoes, where would you recommend going? Do you stay in Cleveland? Do you go to, we'll speak for our people back home that are friends of ours that are trying to make it or doing really great things with their music in Cleveland. Do you stay in Cleveland or do you leave Cleveland? Do you go to LA? Do you go to New York?
Yeah. I mean, I would just say leave Cleveland. regardless.
So going back to our video of
no, yeah, but
why,
like
why you should move out of your 20s.
but like regardless, like if it was any other city, you know, like if you're in Charlotte, I don't know. I think you can make it in any city.
You can. Anyone from anywhere can do it.
Nowadays, like everything is so remote too. You know, you don't really have to be in that city unless you're doing very collaborative things, maybe songwriting. But even then, it's a lot of remote stuff. We just worked with that songwriter fully remote.
Yeah.
And that was kind of a new experience for me, at least.
You can be in your bedroom with your phone. If you got TikTok, you can write a song.
You can release it on YouTube. I mean,
and it could go viral.
All from your hometown, all from your bedroom.
You could go to
I say live wherever you want.
Go to China, go to Iceland, wherever you want.
Yeah.
Let your dreams be big.
Live where you want. Don't let it lock you down by the city because it's supposed to be a music city.
Right.
You know? We live in Tampa. I live in Tampa because it's nice. You know?
Yeah, it's hard
not
to beat.
because there's a great music scene here.
Yeah. Which, by the way, like I said earlier, we are getting involved in. We did get to see a show this past weekend. A local band who does have quite a big following. We'll shout them out. The Reese Brothers.
The Reese Brothers.
REIS. They are reggae band.
Yeah, they were pretty good. So apparently they played the Reggae Fest that we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, reggae's huge down here for.
Yeah, they were pretty good.
Tampa,
Just two brothers rocking out. And I think they had a band come in throughout the show, but.
Yeah, they had a pre-opener, and then their opener was a girl by the name of Ella Jett. She was good. By the way, is local to here and moving to Nashville. So people chase cities, or they chase opportunities. I chased an opportunity to be down here. Don't chase cities, chase opportunities. If the opportunity is in, middle of nowhere, Idaho, go to Idaho, because you can do what you can do if you have the opportunity, like meeting up with somebody that's a creative person.
Hey, you just save on rent. Use that to buy a good mix engineer.
Yeah, that's true. Well, there's an argument. Stay in Cleveland because the rent rates are so affordable compared to living in Tampa that all that money can be funneled back into your project.
That's right.
And Cleveland is, don't think we hate on our hometown. We love it. Don't miss the winters, but it is a really cool rock and roll city. It's got a big metal scene and big pop punk scene. I'm not too familiar with all that stuff, but I know a lot of those venues play that stuff.
Yeah. Well,
it is a good place.
Lots of good music.
It's great, and there's no reason to hate on it. But with that being said, just remember that anyone from anywhere can do anything and chase your dreams or your passions and make good goals.
Chills.
Chills, right? Yeah, I know I'm about to get wise out here. Or move to Tampa because you can't
just come and join us.
Can't beat 90 degrees in the beach.
Yep.
But all right, we will see you on another episode of the Forest Lake Morning Show. Thank you all for joining and watching. Again, as always, I am Tyler.
I'm Brandon.
And we'll see you next time.
Peace.
Peace.